Timeless, weightless, boundless. Discovering the most fascinating landscapes on Earth by hot air balloon. 5 countries, 4 continents, 180 days. Up and away with Phil and Ali Dunnington, an Anglo-German couple whose goal is to discover the world by balloon. Breathtaking flights, dramatic landings, exotic cultures, unexpected encounters. Lighter than air, the balloon floats aloft, bringing us closer to man's oldest dream, the dream of flying. Hakuna Matata, or no worries, as the Kenyan saying goes. Africa has its own rules, and they also apply to the balloonists Phil and Ali Dunnington. Anyone engaging in a Kenyan adventure can expect rich rewards. Almost 40 years ago, Phil visited Kenya for the first time as a young, inexperienced balloon pilot. Now he has returned with his wife Ali, ready for a new experience. The balloon expedition is due to start in the Kenyan capital of Nairobi, home to almost 3 million people. The metropolis is often enveloped by a thick blanket of smog, hardly surprising with all the traffic. The wild marabous seem to have come to terms with it. But the balloonists can't. They want to get away from Nairobi and out into the open country, into the heart of Africa. The group's route takes them northwest to Lake Elementaita, one of the countless lakes found across the East African Rift system. With good weather and good roads, the convoy makes swift progress. They only need 3 4x4s to transport the balloon and its team. After just 2 hours, they reach their first destination, the Sunbird Lodge at Lake Elementaita.
Wow. Good, karibu.
Thank you, that looks good.
The lodge, owned by Austrian Ottmar Pircher, will be the kickoff point next day as the 5-man team heads for their first balloon flight of the tour. The prospects are bright for a day of adventure. But before the fun can start, there's a safety check to pass. Even adventures must be officially authorized. The aviation authorities have sent 2 officials to scrutinize everything in detail.
Lots of noise. This is where all the weight and the stress is taken. Through the carabiner, through this carabiner, down into those wires, and round the bottom of the basket as we saw on the wires.
Hakuna Matata, no worries for Phil. After all, he's an expert where it comes to safety issues.
Between the nylon tape and the ferrule, the swaged ferrule here.
Every little detail is examined minutely. The most important component of the envelope is a so-called parachute, or lid of the balloon.
So this locks that to there to prevent operation.
This can be opened by pulling a rope, letting the hot air escape and enabling the balloon to deflate and descend. Any fault in the attachment or alignment of the cable could be potentially life-threatening.
Now we can see the
Every action involved in setting up the balloon is observed until after an hour, the balloon is finally upright. The balloon's airworthiness will be personally checked by an inspector.
Please don't pull on any of these ropes, yeah? This one especially releases hot air from above, and also the white rope, which is here, yeah? These are mine. If you want to come into landing, so please don't touch any of that.
Remember one thing, every landing when the passengers can walk away by themselves is a good landing.
Hot air balloons are among the safest of aircraft. That is, assuming the technical side is all working and the pilot is well trained. The effort is well rewarded. The unparalleled experience of drifting with the wind, seeing the world from a whole new perspective. Lake Elementaita lies in the center of the East African Rift Valley, an area of the Earth's crust that is particularly active. This accounts for the many volcanoes and lakes with high mineral content.
Fantastic, yeah. I still don't see.
The lakes are famous for their profuse bird life. As water here generally evaporates rather than flowing away, the sodium level of shallow bodies of water, such as Lake Elementaita, is high. It's an ideal habitat for small crustaceans and algae, the main diet of flamingos. It takes a delicate hand to pilot a balloon.
Want to give it a try? You can try a blast. Want to try? Just a little? Yeah, okay.
Inspector Keystone Willis Aketch is given a try.
A quick open and shut it again. Huh?
Ollie, from Phil, do you read
Ah.
the western side of the lake, or southwestern
And you will
side
feel
of the
the
lake,
reaction of the balloon.
approximately 10
Always
knots at the moment,
comes a few
and
seconds
we're
later.
planning to cross the
So
forest area
when
and
you
land
burn,
beyond.
the reaction to go up. It's not immediately. It's not like in a car you press down and the posher runs off. So the balloon always a little bit slow. It takes a few seconds. And there it comes.
Inspector Aketch proves to have a natural talent. With a slight wind and ideal weather conditions, he navigates the balloon quite smoothly across the lake. Most of the shores of Lake Elementaita are nature conservation areas. The wide canopies of the umbrella acacia trees are typical of the area and offer shady sanctuary for animals against the heat of the sun. All too soon, the flight is over.
Obviously, you want to land somewhere near the road, so that would be
Suddenly
a big area.
without a line around.
Phil searches for a landing site that his recovery team can reach easily by car. A perfect flight deserves a perfect landing, right in the middle of the track.
landing.
Thank you, and thanks for coming with us. It's been great to have your help.
Thank you.
To have
At
you
least
on
we know
board.
the balloon can fly.
You do, yes. You can go back and say, well, I'm still alive.
Yeah, it's kind of flies.
Well, I think it's time we had a British gin and tonic. Right. There we are, folks.
Thank you, my dear.
So,
The permit is granted, and the skies above Kenya are open for our adventurous balloonists.
good to be here with you.
Good to be here. To have you here with us.
Thank you. Well,
Next morning, Phil and Ali drive about 50 kilometers to the north. Their aim is the Menengai caldera, one of the largest volcanic craters on Earth. If the flight today succeeds, Phil and Ali will be the first to cross the crater in a hot air balloon. It's windy. The trees offer enough protection to get the balloon inflated, but as soon as the balloon is upright, gusts begin to tug at the envelope. There's no time for lengthy farewells. Ali releases the safety line, and the balloon takes off in a rush. Now, the wind needs to blow in the right direction. And she's done it. The balloon reaches the edge of the crater. The bottom of the caldera is 500 meters below. For safety's sake, Phil and Ali stay quite high up at first.
Amazing.
yeah, so far so good.
So far, so good.
The crater is 12 kilometers in diameter. Right in the middle, the balloonists chance a descent. It's quite a risky maneuver, as wind conditions can be treacherous inside the caldera itself.
Look how all these trees are growing out of the lava. Wow, it's just amazing, huh?
A few hundred years ago, this was all molten, glowing lava. The volcano is dormant now, and bushes and trees have conquered the cold, hardened rock. They, in turn, offered sanctuary to animals, and gradually, a unique habitat evolved. There is a single road cutting through the crater. It leads to the construction site of a geothermic power station, which is planned to supply the area with energy in the future.
There's smoke or fire or something going on. Or dust or steam.
That's not volcanic steam, is it?
Oh no!
No, it's only a campfire. Perhaps poachers or illegal wood gatherers. Cultivated fields run right up to the edge of the crater.
I'm going to fly on this side at the moment.
The fertile soil is ideal for maize, grain, and especially coffee. The flight has picked up speed. Phil is expecting a rustic landing.
So, folks, remember the landing. I want you to be as well held in as you can. Make sure you're not leaning against anything that's going to bruise your bum. Stay in the basket till I say it's safe to get out, and we need to have everything stowed.
power lines coming
Yeah,
up.
see those, good. Okay, get ready for landing. It'll be a bit of a bump. All right, lights off.
Oh, watch.
Back.
Rough ground contact isn't unusual. Balloon pilots with a sense of adventure have to be pretty tough.
No, it was okay.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. I'm very much okay.
So you crawl out first.
The spectacle hasn't gone unnoticed. The locals flock towards them from their schools and fields. There are some 2,000 coffee plantations in Kenya. The beans ripen at varying speeds, but they can only be harvested when they turn red. As machines can't tell the difference in color, harvesting is still done by hand. It takes months to harvest the endlessly long rows of coffee bushes. Kenya produces nearly 2 million sacks of Arabica coffee every year. They are taken to the big coffee auctions in nearby towns and land up almost everywhere around the world. The balloon convoy moves on. After 8 hours on the road, they reach their next destination. The Masai Mara, a natural paradise bigger than almost any other on Earth. At times, the reserve is almost like an open-air zoo. It's not advisable to leave your vehicle. These are wild animals, and they live here. Humans are only tolerated. They have no automatic rights. The animals have long ago got used to the clicking of paparazzi cameras from inside odd metal boxes. As long as a respectful distance is maintained, they graciously permit the inquisitive spectators to take part in their lives. Tourists who balk at the prospect of the long, arduous drive to the game reserve can also fly in by light aircraft. Phil is waiting for an old friend of his at one of the airfields. Wildlife filmmaker, cameraman and balloon pilot Alan Root, who has been living in Kenya for decades.
Alan! How are you? Great to see you, yeah. How are you? You look great.
Their last balloon flight together was over 35 years ago. Now, they want to relive the old days again. In the early 70s, Alan Root was the first person to film animals from a hot air balloon, whilst making the documentary Safari by Balloon. And it was Phil he hired to teach him how to fly.
Yeah, so here's my original logbook from 1972. I was trying to build my hours at the time because
Yes,
you see,
I can see.
I only had 50 hours, so it was the blind leading the blind, really.
It was. I probably had more hours in the air than you. Well, I certainly did in airplanes.
With
and things.
aeroplanes, yeah. So
I was less nervous than you throughout.
absolutely, yeah. And I think, if I remember, we only flew at about 100 feet the whole way.
Most of the time.
Because burning, wasn't it? It was a single
Memories
burner.
come to life around the campfire.
One burner, one of the red frame jobs. And it was... Yeah, well, the thing you've got to remember about a balloon is that it's got 4 tons of
air inside it, 4 tons of inertia. So it takes some stopping, and you've got to anticipate its movements, particularly if you're going down.
Yeah.
Start rounding out well before you actually get to the point at which you want to round out. Do you want to have a try? And we'll go down and see if you can round out nicely just above these boats.
Okay.
I think I've lifted a bit late, don't you? I reckon you have.
And even though Phil and Alan got a dunking, it was the start of the hot air ballooning era in Kenya. Phil and Alan's early, somewhat clumsy attempts to explore the wilds of Kenya by balloon laid the foundations of what has become a highly lucrative leisure time activity.
The balloon we're flying today is the Mara Rainbow. It does not matter where you go in the basket. Everyone gets a window seat. I want 4 mpata here and 4 mpata here. Is that going to be okay?
The launch preparations made by the commercial companies are elaborate. Their huge gondolas can carry up to 20 passengers, and the host of helpers needed is correspondingly large. Balloon safaris are the main attraction in the Masai Mara.
Welcome to ballooning in the Mara.
The big guys have right of way. Then Phil and Alan get the go-ahead to launch.
So, well, we should shake hands at being back in the air for the first time in, what, 35 years or something?
Yeah. Yes.
And thanks to you for introducing me to Africa, or at least ballooning in Africa anyway. It's fantastic. Coming up to the Mara River now.
Nice flight line, this isn't
Yes, it is, isn't it? Yeah. So do you want to have a go? On this one we are?
Yeah.
Climbing slightly, you have control.
Control.
You want a glove, you can control without.
Alan doesn't seem to have forgotten anything.
How am I doing, Captain?
Well, so far so good, but you haven't hit the water yet.
No, well, I'm waiting until we get to the river.
Elephants flying straight over top of them.
Balloon safaris are good business. Each passenger pays between €300 and €500 for a 1.5-hour flight. But for most tourists, the unique view is worth every cent.
Horizon line. It's very jagged up there.
Oh yeah.
That's all wildebeest. I'm fairly sure a number that big.
The Masai Mara Conservation Area borders on Tanzania and belongs to the northern part of the Serengeti Game Reserve. This is where Alan Root's career as a cameraman and nature cinematographer began. In 1959, he was working for the Oscar-winning German movie Serengeti Shall Not Die, made by Bernhard and Michael Cimmek. Since then, he has made many award-winning documentaries, contributing greatly to nature conservation in the process. The Mara River is the lifeline of the game reserve. It carries water year-round, ensuring the continued survival of the animals, even in times of drought. Ali and the rest of the team follow the balloon back and forth across the terrain. They want to be there as soon as possible after the balloon has landed to retrieve the basket, envelope and pilots quickly.
I gave, sort of 5 or 6 seconds.
Oh, God, yeah.
The wind is starting to pick up. A stand-up landing won't be possible today. On the ground, the gusts of wind are pulling at the envelope, dragging the basket along below.
Well, we extracted you from the wreckage. Thank you very much.
Okay,
It was great
well
to be
done.
flying with you
That was
again, Alan.
lovely.
Back in Africa. Fantastic.
After the early flight, a well-deserved breakfast awaits, with plenty of spectators. All of a sudden, some more visitors approach. A herd of elephants. They also just wanted to have a snack next to the river. The air is cool and fresh, and there's plenty of juicy greenery growing on the riverbank. The herd is led by a wary matriarch. The big female walks ahead to check out the territory. Elephants don't like to be too close to humans. Generally, a menacing gesture is enough to make it quite clear who really belongs here and who is just visiting. Now, it's farewell to Alan Root and the Masai Mara, and the balloonists return to Lake Elementaita. Thick clouds hanging over the mountains do not bode well. They'll be lucky if the weather cooperates for tomorrow's flight. The next day dawns, and the conditions are less than ideal. But Ali still wants to try setting up. Gusty winds prevent the air from being heated in the balloon. The flames keep being blown around. Ali has to be careful that she doesn't set the envelope on fire. Here on the ground, the balloonists have to fight the wind. But once they've succeeded in taking off, they glide with the wind.
Can you sort this, Uli? This stuff away, please. Time, 10 past.
As always, Ali notes the time so she can enter the duration of the flight later on in the logbook. There's enough gas to stay aloft for 2 hours.
Against our heads.
What is windig?
Ali launches quickly.
Ja.
Pilot-Leitfähige. Pilot-Leitfähige. Now we've got a pilot-Leitfähige. Just nothing. Where's the striker? There must be a striker somewhere. Right, it's going to be a huge bang.
There are power lines everywhere. A collision would be fatal.
Repair a power light failure. It's going to be a huge bang.
Ali pulls the rip line to get the balloon down as quickly as possible and begins a controlled crash landing. The crew gets away with just the scare and a few minor injuries. Back at the lodge, they try to reconstruct what went wrong. It wasn't the wind. It was a technical failure. Despite all the safety precautions, the pilot light failed. Ballooning accidents are rare, but they can have fatal results. The biggest danger is power lines.
Good, because you're sort of...
It was only thanks to Ali's swift reactions that an even worse disaster was averted. Before the next flight, the burner will be examined thoroughly.
He thought that the leak was here. He told me he thought the leak was here.
We tightened this yesterday because this is supposed to go down straight.
Yeah, that's right.
This is supposed to go down straight. It's not this twisted.
Ottmar Pircher operates balloon safaris here and helps with the repairs. Everything should work perfectly now. Early morning at Lake Elementaita. The diurnal animal shift begins another day of foraging. Pelicans congregate above their prey in small groups and then attack as one, rather a unique method of fishing. The burner has been repaired, and with the shock behind them, the balloonists prepare for the next flight. Today they plan to fly the balloon over the adjacent Soisambu Conservancy, which, although not quite as large or famous as the Masai Mara, still has a remarkably wide variety of wildlife. Water buffalo, with their constant companions. The tick birds keep these big beasts free of irritating parasites. Food for the one and relief for the other. A perfect symbiosis. The road leads the recovery crew straight through the bush. Following the balloon becomes an involuntary game safari.
At 7, it's good. Yeah, we should make it. And now you just have to hope the wind keeps. I mean, that was so terrible on my slide. I know. And then you come to the middle of the lake, and then suddenly it stops and goes back. Oh! Yeah, you come down to 10%.
Back at 2 knots now.
Soisambu is a private nature reserve. It includes about 3/4 of the shoreline of Lake Elementaita. But the rest of the nearly 200 square kilometre game reserve consists of dry savanna. The big five may not all be represented here, lion and rhino for instance, but there are also far fewer tourists. Just outside the reserve, Phil discovers a small airfield.
There's one of his aeroplanes sitting out on the strip, looking his ears to the right of it in the parking.
The landing strip seems to be waiting especially for the balloonists, a perfect opportunity for the passionate pilot Phil.
Sorry. Whoa!
Another hard landing.
We did it!
We did
right
it!
Over
Wow.
the centre line of the airstrip. Not very elegant, but we did it.
Yes, and what's this one? That looks great.
This one.
That looks amazing.
Just get up and worry anyway.
Yes, that's right.
Of course, Phil is immediately drawn to the planes. The little aircraft are mostly used for agricultural purposes.
These carry 2 people.
What stuff do they put in this one?
Insecticides, fertilizers, things to kill things off, defoliants. And they have a GPS system where that tells you whether you've sprayed the right row, because what they do is they fly in a line, and then they turn around sharp and come back and do the same again and round like this. And before, they used to have to do it using a flag man, where a man stood with a flag and they flew up to the flag and turned around and then came back on the other side of the flag, and then he moved and so on in 10-metre widths. Now they do all that on GPS. So all he does is he follows the line, and not only does it tell him when to turn and when he's finished, it says, don't start yet, start now. And they start exactly where they left off last time. So it's very clever.
That's amazing.
No overspray, no missing of anything.
And that's modern technology.
Yeah. But Ollie was asking, what's happened to the poor flagman? And I said, he's got fired.
Yeah. Only he's sitting up there drinking gin and tonics.
The Kenya sojourn is drawing to a close, and Phil is on the lookout for a fitting end.
This area here would be particularly good for takeoff.
100 kilometers north of Lake Elementaita, the area is still virgin territory for balloonists. So Phil is on his way with local farmer George Manuel, who runs a farm up there, together with his wife Janet.
Yes. And then to the left of that you can see all the lines of the coffee.
You can see the lines of the coffee, and then Peter's up at the top of that.
Yeah, okay, and we can see the football pitch that we went to look at this morning.
Oh, you can see the football pitch,
See the football pitch is there.
Radio, yeah,
and then there's your place, so that gives us a really good line to come down this way. So the sort of area, if we're going to be taking off from Teramuka, which is here, or from your place, which is there, then we really want something which has south or a bit of east in the wind direction.
And there's the equator. I mean, we're closer even than I thought. Isn't that the equator?
It is 0, 0, 0, 0. I don't think I've ever flown on a map which has 0, 0, 0, 0.
Well, you wouldn't have to go an awful lot further north.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well, that would be the thing, the trans-equatorial flight, wouldn't it?
I mean, that's Lake Solai, and that's north of the equator.
Yeah.
So literally, we're looking at the equator now, aren't we?
We are. About where that cloud shadow is, I would say. Yeah. Right, there's a target for us. Challenge for the next few days.
Over the equator? Right.
Crossing the equator in a hot air balloon.
Yeah, I expect about 10 knots.
Will the weather cooperate?
It's one of these.
It's one of those things, yeah.
It's just, I mean, you could give it a try.
Yeah, let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. Yeah.
You might get a low.
Almost on the equator. About 5-10 kilometers south of it.
Okay, what we need definitely today to have very close to us is this striker, which gives us a spark, and then we can try to relight it in case we have another failure. So that's what we need today.
This time nothing is being left to chance. If everything goes to plan, they'll reach their goal in around an hour. Burner and pilot light are both working perfectly. Mission Equator Crossing can begin. But a stubborn carabiner won't release the balloon.
What is the matter with the system?
It's this stupid
Okay, we have to come down.
All right, we're going to have to come down again.
Everybody to the basket, be careful of the car. Okay, wait on as soon as we touch down. Hands on. Don't lift your feet off the ground. I'm in control here for the moment.
You've got to be undone. That's got to be undone. That's it. Good. Now you've got my
Hakuna Matata. No worries. Sometimes it just takes a little patience.
Hey, we've made it! Woo! So far so good. Both pilot lights are working. We only have 3-4 knots, which is lovely. Plan is to fly across the equator this morning, which is about 10 kilometers down that way. In half an hour we could cross the equator in this speed. We're doing 9 knots, but 20 kilometers per hour, and it's 10k to the equator. Yeah, so.
From Phil, we're tracking almost due north now, 10 knots, so keep us visual.
Thanks to George and Janet's knowledge of the area, the recovery team can keep up with the balloon.
Yeah, Bill, we can see you quite well. Over.
There are only a few narrow tracks running through the farmland fields.
Yeah, you're all running on the way to school.
Yeah, when I fire, the kids are running away. Have a look, Phil. Yeah,
this is the kind of field we might enter.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many.
We're only two minutes south of the equator now.
Yeah.
Jumbo!
The balloon can be seen from miles around and gets an enthusiastic greeting wherever it goes.
See the old railway line bar?
In the previous century, these tracks were an important part of the country's interior transport system. But meanwhile, virtually all traffic has shifted to the roads.
Do we know whether the equator's before these mountains? Or?
Well, it goes across like this, but I don't know exactly where. It's not.
Which way?
Well, it goes
here.
no, it goes left to right. So I don't know where it goes left to right. That's the problem because we don't have a map. So.
We've got only 1.111 to go to the equator, so we're going to press on.
Yep, that's right. You're so close you can almost touch it now, I think.
It's 1 nautical mile, so 2 kilometres, yeah.
2 kilometres to go.
So hopefully, by the time we get to that next
fantastic, yeah.
The two have almost reached the magical border. Somewhere below is the line separating the northern and southern hemispheres.
I reckon actually this could be the equator, don't you think?
Could be, yeah.
Could be the equator road. It's going straight across, and we're absolutely nearly there. There's just 2 more seconds to go, hey?
Yeah.
Wow, it'd be amazing to do it, huh?
I've always wanted to know where the equator's marked on the ground like it is on the map.
Yes,
so
that's right. It's just a dirt road and nothing else.
Maybe the farmstead down there actually straddles the equator. Ali starts the countdown.
7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0!
Wow! We've done it! Crossed the equator for the first time ever in a balloon.
Well done! Congratulations!
This is amazing! What an achievement. Excellent. Thanks everybody so much. That was fantastic. But never mind, so the next task is to find a good landing site, obviously.
Very good. Well, we'll try and make our way cross country and follow you.
So it will be a very steep descent, but hopefully not a hard one, yeah? Make it even strong.
There's not much time left to enjoy the achievement. The flight has taken well over an hour, longer than they'd planned, and their gas is running low.
Yeah, we're gonna land in the next couple of minutes here. The whole school will be about.
Thank you, crew.
Hello, super, Janet. Well done, well done.
A world first, a world first, huh?
Yes, yeah.
Well, we think so anyway.
Good enough for us. Must be.
Well done, you guys.
Yeah, great. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm very well. How are you?
Welcome.
Mazuri sana.
Yeah,
Noisy
be
bird.
careful.
Mission accomplished. The successful conclusion to an eventful balloon expedition with many highlights and one crash landing. Hakuna Matata, no worries. That's Africa for you.